Straight ahead on the national desk, crisis in the classroom from DEI and woke policies to a major shift in resources. The biggest threats plaguing America's schools, according to one parental rights group. The biggest problem facing America's schools isn't just a teacher shortage or resources. A parent advocacy group says it's the allocation of those resources, the woke policies that have been exposed, and the failing grades from failed policies. President and founder of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily, testified before the U.S. Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pension to comment on this issue and joins us with more. Good morning to you. Welcome back. So you testified before a Senate committee. But you raised the point yesterday that the committee chairman was so out of touch with what American parents actually care about. And by the way, it's not about equitable grading. So explain how you began this testimony that you gave yesterday in front of the Senate committee.
Sure. Well, it was interesting because Chairman Sanders was really concerned that teachers are underpaid and that schools are underfunded. Let's remember that the federal government dumped $187 billion into American schools during the pandemic to address learning loss, to reopen schools. It was so much money the districts actually couldn't even spend it fast enough. They have until September of this year. Obviously, schools have been open for many years, and learning loss is terrible. It's off the charts. And so you look at what the different districts have been spending their money on. It's been on social emotional learning. It's been on critical race theory. It's been on pet projects. It's been on hiring additional staff for projects like DEI deans. It really has not gone towards making up this learning loss. And that's what we as parents and consumers care about. So for this to be the one single hearing that this Senate Health Committee has had the entire 2 years that Congress has been in session, and hold it about the fact that schools are underfunded is so grossly out of touch, it's appalling. Yeah,
to your point, in Virginia, Nicole, only 32% of fourth graders are proficient in reading. Minnesota, just 30% of eighth graders. In Alaska, take a look at this, 24% of fourth graders are proficient in reading. And in New Mexico, only 18% of eighth graders are proficient in reading. It's gotten so bad, in fact, in Oregon, the Board of Education voted unanimously to pause graduation requirements until 2029, and we're seeing advanced classes eliminated. And I heard what you said about students being shamed rather than inspired for working hard. Talk about how this is playing out across America.
Sure. Well, yeah, certainly gifted students, if they still have classes, because so many districts across the country are eliminating gifted and talent classes. It's Seattle, it's New York, it's Fairfax County, it's in San Francisco. Those gifted, talented, and CalTel programs are being eliminated because it makes students feel bad if they're not in it. Tracking programs are thought to stigmatize students. And so instead, these gifted students are in classes with everybody else. And if they get too far ahead, it's embarrassing because they create inequity. And so they're told, don't work too hard. My daughter's a gifted student. She would finish her work early and she'd be bored. And then she would sort of be wiggly because, she was in first grade at the time. And so we're really doing a disservice to our gifted students who deserve more and want to strive for more. And why would we want to tell children don't work hard? That's bad. That's a negative trait. I mean, that's so appalling that we as a country have gotten to a place like that, where we have to make the least able students feel better about themselves by holding back the high performers. You
say schools don't have a resource issue, they have an allocation issue. Give us some examples that you shared with the committee.
Sure. In Hayward, California, this is a district that spent $250,000 on woke kindergarten. You might remember woke kindergarten being the one where the founders said that Israel and America don't have a right to exist. They had a third grade lesson plan on the wheels on the tank about the Israel-Hamas conflict. This is a school where 15% of children at elementary school can do math. I mean, that's an astonishing number. Other statistics, San Francisco Unified during the pandemic voted to rename 44 schools, including schools named after Senator Dianne Feinstein, President Abraham Lincoln, and composer Francis Scott Key. They estimated that just the cost of changing all the paperwork, the building signs, was going to be $440,000. 36% of high schoolers in San Francisco are proficient in math, and only 52% are proficient in reading. Whitewater Unified School District in Wisconsin spent $1.6 million redoing their turf fields of their ESSER money. This is, again, a district where only 18% of high schoolers are proficient in math and 29% are proficient in reading. And so why are we not putting this money into classrooms to address micro-target interventions for tutoring programs? Why are we spending these on pet programs like this? It's sickening.
But one position you found has been growing while other positions are not. There's less of a focus to hire qualified teachers because union contracts often dictate the pay and hiring decisions. What position is that actually is growing right now, and is it working?
Administrators are growing by leaps and bounds. Between 2000 and 2019, the student population grew about 7.9%. The teacher population grew about 8.7%. Administrators grew 87.6% in that time period, which is astonishing. And the Heritage Foundation has done a great study looking at the rise of chief diversity officers. And they have actually found that in districts that have CDOs in place, actually student achievement has fallen, and the gaps have widened in those districts. And so it's really interesting, and it begs the question, why do we continue to throw money at programs not only that we don't think are working, we actually have statistics to prove they are actively harming students. This is not how we should be spending our money. If we want teachers to be paid more, let's cut out these middle administrators, let's cut out this garbage programming, and let's get it to the teachers and get it to the students.
President of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.